it's Christine Grace. Welcome back to my channel. Today is another reaction video. Like the video on your way in. Let's get straight into it. We've got some more Andrew Wilson today, which is always fun. He's been back on the Whatever podcast, and this is just a one-on-one, so I'm intrigued to see how it goes down.
You want to do that? 60 seconds back and forth?
That works.
Or if you guys want, we could give it another shot at just keeping it open combo.
Sure.
So why don't we do that? If the interruptions continue, you guys feel like you're not.
But I would like to just point out.
Wait. We have to set the rules first. No more talking. Yes, we will do 60 seconds.
Who does she think she's talking to? Straight off the bat.
I'm supposed to be talked to like that, though, right?
No, 60 seconds back and forth, or I will leave. I'm so serious. We sign an agreement if I appear here.
Leave. I don't care. Why do you think I care if you fucking leave?
I'm not talking to you.
Hold on, guys.
I'm not talking to you.
Okay.
I'm talking.
Go ahead. What's your proposal?
My proposal, if we don't do 60 seconds back and forth, I will walk out right now. The agreement was that I appear. It does not say that I have to stay for 3 hours, so I will leave right now. Because I'm not going to be talked to like this. I mean,
what? What?
Real men.
Do you know what? I have to admire Andrew being able to laugh it off because she's irritating me already.
Here we
go with the real men.
Tell me what a real man is.
Well, Andrew.
My dad.
Real women don't abort their children, lady.
My dad has the same political beliefs as you, and he would never talk to a woman
and my
like that.
sister has the same political beliefs as you, and she would never dare talk to a man like that. Like, what's your point?
That makes no sense. Andrew, can you stop?
Andrew, that's really disrespectful.
Oh, God. Everything's disrespectful.
Andrew, stop.
You're such a crybaby.
Andrew, stop. In furtherance of ensuring that this debate actually occurs, let's set some ground rules. We got to allow people to finish their points. And Andrew, maybe you've said some mocking things towards her.
No, I have not mocked him at all.
Look,
no.
You literally just said how he's not a real man.
No, I've stood up for myself,
I need to be fair.
and I will not be mocked.
So standing up for yourself means throwing insults, in which case Andrew should be allowed to do the same. Because equality, right?
I have not said a word that is bad to you. I talked to you about your family in Michigan. I want to get to know you. This isn't about anything about me mocking you. This is a boundary of him attacking me.
I'm here to get to know you. I'm here to do a debate.
Look, when you returned to the table, you did the tone. Your tone wasn't the best towards Andrew. And look. Hold on.
Wow.
I'll be fair.
Yeah, your tone, which is exactly what you're going to complain about with Andrew.
Hold on, Kylie, I'll be fair.
Classic.
Andrew's tone towards you wasn't great either. In furtherance of ensuring that the debate actually occurs, why don't we just get back to it and stick to the substance of the conversation?
Okay.
I'm trying to be fair to both of you.
But 60 seconds each, yeah? No interruptions?
Andrew, if you're fine with that, then I'm fine with that. So
Great.
And if you guys are open to it, if that goes well, the 60 seconds each, we can bring it back to open conversation.
Okay.
Well, there does have to be some cross-examination at some point, but yeah, that's fine.
Sure. Okay. So Kylie, go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Okay, so the point of my conversation here is I would genuinely like to have an open discussion about like what feminism means and to debunk some of the feminist myths, but my opponent seems to want to attack me instead and call me names, which is totally okay. I'm used to that, especially if you look at my comments online. But the point being, I'm going to try my best to keep it very mellow. Again, if I'm being attacked, I am going to get defensive, but I would like to start by saying, yes, the McKinsey study in sociology, psychology studies are flawed, and that is true. They are continually, it's a field that's expanding, and that's why I chose to study psychology, because I do find it so interesting. But that doesn't negate the fact that plenty of studies have found a significant correlation between being a woman and being a victim of violence at the hands of a man. And again, the study of 1 in 3 women globally who experience sexual or physical violence. And I think that is the core of what a lot of feminists believe in, is trying to combat that violent behavior and to protect women. I'm sure that's close to a minute, so I can pass it over to you.
Feminism has completely lied to everybody, and I'll explain exactly how. It failed in its promise. Its promise was that it was supposed to protect women. It hasn't protected women. The very idea that you want to put women inside of male workforces is not protecting women. The idea that you want to have dual colleges where it's men and women together is not protecting women. These are terrible ideas, and they've been borne out as being terrible ideas. When you talk about sociological studies being flawed, I don't think that you're really being honest about how flawed they are. The replication crisis in sociology is getting worse, not better. It's not getting better. Even with all the meta-analysis, it's not getting better. Why isn't it getting better? It's because of bias. There's so much bias which is going on, especially from the purview of feminists. And feminists use standpoint theory. They want everything to go through the view of women. So when you're talking about, for instance, the criteria, when you're talking about what that means that women are assaulted, right? What is the criteria for that, for what an assault actually is?
That's a really good question. There are definitely, we are definitely working on defining the lines for that. So right now there's an acronym that we are coming up with that we want to teach in schools of like what that means, which is FRIES, so freely given, reversible, informed, enthusiastic, or engaged in specific of what consent means, so that there is no confusion about what is happening in terms of, you know, like whether it's an assault, because I know that does happen where men are confused and they don't know, and especially if there's alcohol involved. And so my goal is to protect women and also to make sure that men know that if they are causing harm, that, I mean, a lot of men, they don't want to hurt other people. They don't realize it. And so I think if we have better education about like what assault is and how to
If we have better education to tell you guys how you're awful and you're really bad and everything you do is just attacking women, then the world will be a better place.
to prevent it, because again, there are male victims. So I think if it's something that we can come forward about and make sure that everyone feels heard and supported, then men would also come forward more about like if they've been assaulted.
This doesn't answer my question though. My question is, when you cite the data on how many of these women have actually been assaulted, what is the criteria being used?
That's a good question. I see your point of how it varies, like based upon the study and things like that. But I think a lot of these problem is that it is self-reported. But again, another issue is that that means they could be underreported as well, because you know women are too scared to report it. So yes, there are issues with that. But another thing though is that women are definitely in a position in the home where they are not safe in a lot of places. And again, that comes back to the kind of assumption that I was talking about earlier, is that like it's because we married the wrong man and you know this guy is unsafe in our home. But it's not about that. It's sometimes when you marry somebody or you date somebody, they can then become violent towards you because they see you as their property almost.
Most of these domestic violence claims,
Two-way abuse,
and things like this are happening from single mothers with boyfriends, though, not happening from the father at home.
Do you
in
have a
married
source
relationships.
for that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering because
Not only is that factually the case, but interestingly enough, if the state seizes custody of a child inside of an abusive home, the child's actually more likely at the hands of the state to die than they are in the hands of the abusive home, which is insane but true.
I think.
Now, let me give you the studies that you're talking about here.
Okay.
Okay.
Are these the studies about which claims that you said?
Yeah, so here we're going to start with the National Incidence Study, NIS. It's the largest collection of all types reporting data relating to abuse and maltreatment of children. Okay? 68% of maltreated children were maltreated by a female, whereas 48% were maltreated by a male. Some children were maltreated by both. Of children maltreated by biological parents, mothers maltreated the majority, 75%, where fathers maltreated a sizable majority, 43%. In contrast, male perpetrators were more common for children maltreated by non-biological parents or parents' partners, 64% or 75%. Safest place you can possibly be in the home is with your husband and with your children. That's for women, the safest place they can be. Any study that you pull up is going to be drawing from the NIS source. That's direct from the NIS itself. There's no refuting that. I've looked and looked and looked. It is definitely from partner incident violence. Women are the safest when they have a husband in the home.
I think for some women that is the case. I think there are good men out there, and I think that's a misconception that feminists
most, not some, most.
Don't believe in that there are good men, that we hate all men, which definitely isn't true. But I would like to say, like, because you're saying, you know, psychology is an evolving field, there are different studies and different numbers. Male perpetrators are predominant, and while the exact percentage differs, it's generally estimated that between 75 and 90% of child sexual abuse is committed by men or male adolescents.
Nope. That's because it's not drawing from the correct data set, which would be the NIS.
But the reason
they do that
have the authority to say which one is the correct data set?
Because they all draw from the NIS. All of them draw from this data set, the NIS. They have to. It's the most comprehensive source for reporting. So here's what happens. If you wanted to gather data, you're a psychologist.
Are you seriously explaining to me how it works to gather data?
No, I'm asking you a question.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted to gather data, right?
Yes.
If you want, especially on crimes, you would use.
Why so like awful? Why so much attitude? Like why? Just why?
Law enforcement or the best source for reporting, right? In this case, self-reporting is going to be far less reliable than reports to the police, things like this, right?
Yes, understandable. So you're saying that this is the most comprehensive, therefore the most reliable source.
It's the most comprehensive source.
But where are you finding that it is the most comprehensive? Because you haven't mentioned a source that says it is, because I'm
Where are you finding that your one is the most comprehensive?
looking at it now.
The NIS?
That's not from the NIS. There's the national...
It's from the NIS. From the NIS.
There's the National Center for Victims of Crime in RAIN, which is the statistics that I just
RAIN
pulled
draws
up.
from the NIS.
Okay, so then how come it draws from the same source? And my conclusion is different than yours.
Because they changed the criteria for what is considered assault, and they changed the criteria. Like, I've seen it as bad as them saying that men cannot be essayed by women because it's non-penetrative.
I see. So you're saying that that would skew the numbers.
It does skew
Yes,
the
it
numbers.
would.
So the results of the National Incident Study, NIS, the largest collection of all types of reported data related to abuse and maltreatment, 68% of maltreated children were maltreated by a female, 48% maltreated by a male.
Mm-hmm.
Women, when they're in positions of power over people who are weaker than them, actually abuse more than men do. So at the same time, while you say, well, women have to run this big gambit of threats from men because men are much stronger than women and have more propensity to violence, when women are in charge of people who are inferior in strength to them, their incidences of violence towards them are much higher than men's incidences of violence towards them.
That's
it
quite the
sounds like women
conclusion.
are the greater threat here than men.
Sure. If you want to say that, that's totally your prerogative, but that's not what the numbers say. So you can say, no, it's my turn to speak. You can say what you want about all the different statistics and how they come from a specific study, but the point is that there are different estimates, and basically every study conducted globally has found that the number of female victims is astronomically higher than male victims. Not to say male victims aren't important. If you are a male victim, especially if you haven't spoken up, I have seen the effects of having male sexual assault in my family, so please talk to somebody. It is serious, but 1 in 6 boys have been assaulted, and a lot of the time it is by male offenders.
Yeah,
so it is
but
serious.
what about the fact
But
that
the
when
point
we're
is
talking
that
about
women
rages of
are victims
abuse
more.
of children, women are the ones who are most often in charge of children. The domestic rates, for instance, inside of a boys' home where the prison guards are all male, and it's a male, youth population versus female. If there's a females in charge of the youth population, the statistics for abuse skyrocket. Same thing inside of public schools.
Are you saying that women are more likely to be
women are more
pedophiles?
likely? No, women are more likely than men when it comes to the weaker sex. In this case, children. We would just say children are both sexes, right? But they're the weaker human than women. When they're in charge of children, they actually abuse them far more than what men abuse women at. And so it's like, so who's really the dangerous ones here?
I mean,
Your 60 seconds begins. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I would like to say that is a claim that is a reasonable conclusion that you are drawing from the data that you are presenting. Unfortunately, that is not true, though.
Why isn't it true?
The vast majority of sex offenders are male, and especially...
He's not just talking about sex offenders. He's saying that when women are in charge of children, they are more abusive over children than men when men are in charge of children.
Especially when, there are still female offenders, and that is still bad.
My apologies, that's not what he's saying. He's saying that men are less abusive to women than women are to children, I think.
But the point is that there is significant male dominance, and that most sex offenders are male, and females do commit sex crimes, but they're often underrepresented as perpetrators. So you're correct. But
Hold on. Data you're reporting, is it?
Do you want to continue?
Yes, please. And so
I'll give you your 60.
This is from the United States Commission Sentencing, which is just about sexual abuse offenders. And there's a whole pie chart here, about how many times they offend and who they offend, and who they're under guidance for. And again, it is saying that the vast majority, up to 80% of the perpetrators,
10
are men.
Yeah,
you can talk now.
So women, do you agree with me that I have to ask some questions here so I can figure some things out? I hope that you'll answer them. So do you agree with me that both men and women have the propensity to, in some way, essay the other partner, both of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's, I mean, no, yes, I agree. It is definitely possible
Okay.
for both sexes to do that.
The question becomes, if you switch criteria around, right, for what is considered sexual assault, let's just assume things like catcalling are put in the category.
That's harassment. But are you saying
let's say
hypothetically?
it's categorized,
Okay.
not as harassment, but as a form of sexual abuse. Would you say that would greatly skew the numbers?
If that were how it was classified, yes. Do you
Yeah.
have evidence that is how it is
I
classified?
do. In fact, there's a whole grouping of colleges in a study that I can show you where that was smuggled in as a form of sexual assault or SA or sexual battery in some cases.
And of course it's smuggled in there because they want to present that men are this oppressive force and that women are the oppressed. Why? All you have to do is look at the charities. There's a business model there. There are all of these domestic abuse charities for women and they make money. So if they can make it seem like there's more of a need for these charities, not that there isn't a need, of course there is. If they can make it seem like the demand is greater, then they can get more money for the supply.
Right? They smuggle in, and so what?
I just say that for the people who ask, probably like her, why would they want to lie about the numbers? Well, that's why. The answer is always money. Always.
They do is they decide that they want to make that data set wider, and so they just reclassify things which would not ordinarily be classified as sexual assault or sexual battery by just inserting those things. Now the same exact thing happens here. Do you think that it's very masculine, for instance, inside of society for men to go and report when a woman gives them unwanted touching?
No, and I matter of fact, I do know male victims with female perpetrators.
And they have unwanted touching?
Yes.
So they're just far more likely to report it because of the social stigma, which happens to them often from women who tell them things like, I don't consider you a real man like you did to me earlier.
Oh, I didn't really say that, but
Yes, you
Your
did.
exact words were, a real man would X.
real men.
A real,
don't
you're
talk
going to tell me what a
women
real
like
man
this.
is?
And there you have it. Right there. That's all your proof for exactly what is going on in the state of society. Men can't win. It is literally impossible for a man to win in any situation. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up on your way out. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to make sure you stay up to date with all of my content. And if you'd like to consider donating to the channel, you can do so by clicking the link in the description at buymeacoffee.com. And if you have a video that you would like me to react to, you can reach out to me on my various social media platforms or drop me an email. And on that note, I will see you very soon in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.